So, I'm Monica Maurer. I'm the founder and clinical director for the Center for Family Transformation, and I wanted to address our community today in regard to the COVID pandemic. As therapists, we were also taken aback and shocked by the events of the last couple of weeks and have had to readjust and realign ourselves in terms of emotional regulation in order to help our clients and those who are coming our way who are in need of help in regard to their adjustments and difficulties emotionally with the current pandemic. And so, as we've done that, we've been able to think through things in a way that is productive and healthy, and we want to be able to offer those things and those insights and concepts to you as well. So, I'm going to present today just in terms of how this pandemic can actually produce growth emotionally, relationally, physically, in our personal lives, and how we can utilize pain in terms of purpose, in terms of a greater purpose that can bring us more clarity, and we can come out of this thing stronger than we've gone in. So today I'm going to talk a bit about how I always think of trouble and chaos and difficulty in terms of redemption. What is the redemptive quality, or what are the redemptive purposes of any given situation? So, question: how can this current discomfort lead us into benefit? How can we benefit from our current experience? On the surface, we are in chaos. We're asking ourselves all manner of questions in regard to our personal health, as well as the health of our family and family members, and also in regard to what is going on with our country, what is going on larger scale, what's going on with our world, and how are we going to emerge out of this? What changes are going to happen over the coming months? And how is my life going to be different than it was just a couple of weeks ago? None of us could have guessed what was going to happen just a few weeks ago, and now we're all finding ourselves adjusting to what many are calling the new normal. So, question is, how can we actually utilize this time for the benefit of ourselves and our families and our communities? So I really love following Dr. James Wilder of the Life Model, and use a lot of his materials and the materials of his team to guide my own personal life, as well as helping to guide that of my clients in terms of their emotional and psychological healing and growth. So what Dr. Wilder says in the book Joy Starts Here is that psychological impact of crisis changes the way that we relate to one another, and that this can be very damaging and detrimental to whole communities of people. So when fear and sadness replace our ability to live in joy and peace with each other, we forget how to be together and in positive ways. We forget how to love and give and receive life with one another. We actually, in our stress and in our difficult emotion, we replace healthy relationships and healthy life-giving activities with unhealthy distractions. And then our compulsions and our addictions provide us with fake joy, not real joy, and the things that are healthy in terms of giving us peace and soothing our hearts, we actually replace with things that are unhealthy, and we can become worse rather than better after such world and community crises occur. So we don't want to numb our hearts and use substances and unfulfilling processes to fill us, because we want to continue to connect to others and stay in touch with what it really means to be human. And if we can do that, we can emerge from this thing stronger rather than weaker. If we don't give ourselves this opportunity to acknowledge and process our emotions, the result will be a loss of human connection and relational skill. But if we give ourselves the space and time that we need to emotionally process and then realign and readjust ourselves to our current situations, then we can produce more growth in our lives than we ever thought possible. So there are 4 ways that I am going to describe and then challenge you to grow during this time. One way is, the first way that I'll discuss today is to learn to live in appreciation. Due to crisis and during crisis, we don't want to feel appreciation. We don't feel like feeling appreciation. Our fight, flight, or freeze part of our brain takes over, and we sense danger and we just shut down, or we get out of there. And we find it nearly impossible to focus on the things that are good, that can provide us with true peace and comfort. But it is possible for us to live as higher functioning individuals and calm our own brains down through the skill of appreciation. So appreciation we oftentimes call gratitude or thankfulness, and we oftentimes see people posting on Facebook or talking about these things during the Thanksgiving holiday. But this is a skill that we can all utilize all the time, and we can teach others in our communities to do so as well. And this will help us to boost our dopamine levels. It will settle our nervous systems down. It will release bonding chemicals in our brains so that we can connect to others in joy and in peace. And doing so will be a valuable aspect of getting through this crisis together. So, action step for practicing appreciation. It's a simple concept, but it's not so simple to put into practice. So it takes sincere and intentional effort to practice appreciation. If you have practiced mindfulness or meditation in the past, you will be able to practice appreciation, or maybe you have already done so. But one simple practice that I'm talking to my clients about is to simply make a list of nouns, I've said, of people, places, things, ideas for which you are thankful. Just make that list, and then beside each of those things, the person, place, thing, or idea, attach a story or a memory or a slice of life that you can enhance through a story or a memory or a concept of some type. If you utilize your ability for your brain to recall all your sensory experiences with these stories or memories, it can enhance this appreciation memory or story in unprecedented ways. So go ahead and let yourself just sit in that seat of appreciation. Don't get up out of that seat, and let yourself think about, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you smell, what do you feel, or what do you remember tasting in that memory or with that person. And allow yourself to think through every single aspect of that story or memory. Oftentimes, a memory can last a minute or two. So, petting your pet, or taking a walk with a friend, or smiling at your child, or laughing together may only last a short amount of time. But taking the time to focus on that story or that memory can enhance and provide lasting benefits to your mind to help you soothe and calm yourself. So practicing this 5 minutes 3 times a day for 30 days can actually shift the way that your brain thinks, and you can live more from the skill of appreciation rather than looking at trouble and looking at hardship or looking at difficulty as the first thing your brain attends to. So it's a skill that you can teach yourself, you can teach your friends, you can teach your family members, and you can do it interactively. You can do it with yourself through journaling or just through focusing your thoughts, or you can do it with your family as well. The second thing I'd like to discuss today is the concept of realigning priorities. This is an amazing opportunity that we have during this epidemic or pandemic to realign and readjust our priorities. We live in a rat race world, and our communities are running from one activity to another and working. We're workaholics. We are so plastered to events and circumstances, or connected to our social media, that we're prioritizing the wrong things in our life. And this crisis can actually cause us to stop in our tracks and be intentional to realign with the things that are truly important to us, rather than the things we feel compulsively drawn to. So relationships, as well as individual emotional and physical health and growth, get lost in our shuffle of events, responsibilities, activities, the rat race of what we have to go to next. We don't get enough sleep, we don't get healthy foods, we don't get enough exercise. But if we slow down our pace, we can give ourselves this opportunity to look at ourselves and our choices, how we've been spending our time and our money, and adjust where necessary. We have no control right now. We don't know what's going to happen. And for many of us, that causes a lot of angst. But if we allow ourselves to kind of embrace the lack of control we have, then we loosen our grip on life, our need to have control, and we can actually have the reverse. We can start to enjoy life. We can relax and loosen up and say, hey, I can't control it, so I'm going to go ahead and try to enjoy this time and the space that I have. We can smile and we can laugh more. We can pay attention to the things that really matter. We can focus in on the smile of a child, or our enjoyment of a certain activity that we haven't been able to do in our regular rat race life. So here's an action step for reprioritizing your values. You could definitely spend some time just reflecting on how you've been living. What are the things you've been involved with? Make a list of the things that you've been doing and cross some of them out. These are the things I don't want to do anymore. These are the relationships that aren't life-giving, that I need to adjust, or these are the relationships I've lost sight of that I want to give more time to. Take the time to brainstorm how you are going to make these changes. How are you going to cut certain things out? How are you going to add new things in? So that when you reemerge into normal life, life as usual, you actually have a plan that you can implement, instead of just continuing to give yourself over to obligations that steal your joy. Life is meant to live in joy, not to live in obligation and oppression. So let's make the changes that we need to make to get into that new way of thinking and living. The third thing I would like to discuss is this idea of taking this opportunity to let go of our compulsions and our vices, the things that we use to soothe or distract ourselves. During our rat race life, we do these things because we're overwhelmed with the rat race. But during this crisis, we could do those things to manage our anxiety or our loneliness, our feelings of sadness or uncertainty. There are a myriad of things that we choose. We can choose food, online shopping, illegal drugs or prescription drugs, pornography, video games, television, as well as many other options that are just at our fingertips, even as we're isolated in our homes. These things provide instant relief from anxiety and prolonged sadness. However, they don't provide long-lasting relief. And what we're looking at is developing activities, hobbies, habits that will provide us with more long-lasting and substantial relief and peace, rather than a quick fix that we only are going to need more and more of in order to get that same level of relief. So when we as humans go into overwhelm, it can happen because we're too busy, or it can happen because there's things that are scary that are going on around us, and we don't know how to manage our own feelings of overwhelm. So choosing healthier alternatives can be an amazing switch to give your life more meaning and substance and long-term benefit. So thinking through these things and really putting them to task is vital during this break that we have going on because of the current crises. So this is the perfect time to take an action step, to take an inventory of your unhealthy behaviors, and start to make a list of more healthy alternatives that you would like to add in. Make a list of the things you'd like to change and the behaviors that accompany those things. And then make an even longer list of healthy alternatives, things that you maybe don't take the time or the effort to do, but would like to do. And so as you're in a more flexible schedule, start to implement the healthy behaviors. And what you'll see is the unhealthy behaviors don't have as much time, because you are pushing them out with the more healthy behaviors. If you want to stop drinking soda, start drinking water. Drink a ton of water. And as you drink more and more water, you'll notice you're not as thirsty for the soda as you once were. So my advice with this is, don't give yourself a choice. Don't let yourself second guess. Don't lay around and just think about it happening. Just get up and do it. Just make yourself do this list of behaviors. And over time, what you'll notice is that you are finding more and more satisfaction and life-giving energy flowing through your body. At first, it will be hard, but as you continue to do these healthy behaviors, you'll find yourself more and more feeling drawn to those behaviors instead of the others. Truly a benefit of having this time and space. The last thing I'd like to discuss today is that we have the opportunity to learn to live from our best self through this extreme difficulty that we're in. We know that diamonds and pearls are produced by time and pressure, and we would not have the stunning beauty of these beautiful gems if we didn't have the time and pressure. So as we are in the midst of this time and pressure with the current crisis, we can allow this space to develop deeper wells of who we are, a deepening of ourselves, of who we truly are as individuals. So suffering can produce growth, and if we stay connected to who we want to be and form life-giving relationships around us, we can produce in ourselves truly the people that we want to be, rather than the people that we end up acting like just by default. So as we begin to kind of do the things that I've been talking about today, not hiding from the crisis, but actually looking at things, processing what's coming up for us, processing emotion, learning to live in appreciation, realigning with our true values, adjusting and getting rid of compulsions and vices and replacing those things with life-giving activities. We can actually, because we're looking at those things, we can actually mature and begin to use our minds, these amazing minds that we've been given, to respond with wisdom and learn to cultivate satisfying relationships and learn to act in ways that reflect who we truly want to be. And so My best advice for how to do this is just submit to the process. It's going to happen if you allow yourself to make some of these changes we've been discussing. When the pressure seems too much and too great, and the unknown of everything you're hearing crowds in and overwhelms you, practice calming yourself. Practice deep breathing, meditation, do some stretching, some yoga, some Pilates, some tapping. You can also practice some soothing activities such as journaling, even interactive journaling. I love the book Joy Starts Here. And practice radical acceptance, connecting in relationships that are soothing and that are positive. Move forward in ways that you are able to, instead of just staying still or moving backward into unhealthy behaviors. Move forward into life-giving activities. Seize this opportunity for growth and allow yourself to change because of the sadness and the stress and the pressure. So I will end with saying, do I want to get back to normal? Yes, I would love to be back to normal and be able to go out to eat at my favorite restaurants and take my kids to their practices and work out of my beautiful office and have my clients meet me in my beautiful office. But I do not want to get back to normal without learning how to live in appreciation, how to grow from this experience, how to value the things that truly are valuable, how to slow myself down and learn to live at peace with myself and in my relationships. If I can't learn these things, then maybe normal is a hazard to my personal health and relationships rather than normal being healthy. So let's join together in this crisis and hold our hands and our hearts open and position ourselves for growth. Together, we can reach our fullest potential physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually if we allow ourselves to do so. I hope that you are enjoying time with family, enjoying time doing the things that you never get the chance to do, and thinking thoughts that will promote you into becoming all that you are called to be in this life. I hope you have a great day.